सहना ववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. We are reading from the book Meditation and Spiritual Life by Swami Yatiswarananda. We are on chapter 17, Self-Surrender, and we are starting the section, Be an Instrument in the Hands of the Divine. You get a glimpse of freedom only when you are in perfect tune with the cosmic reality. Otherwise, what we ordinarily call freedom is the animal freedom, freedom of the instincts and not from the instincts. The working of the senses is the unconscious manifestation of the cosmic energy. The more we love that kind of freedom, the more we live in the unconscious and the more bound we become. Instead of living an instinctive life, live a conscious life, a life of intelligence. Freedom of the instincts is license, not freedom at all. The so-called free man is actually a slave of his own moods, his instincts. As the whole world is full of such free people, it is getting worse and worse. Wonderful, quote-unquote, free souls they are, all puppets dangling most ludicrously on the string of the Divine Mother's delusive power. The spiritual aspirant should feel he is an instrument in the hands of the cosmic power. The best attitude is that of an instrument, knowing himself to be not the doer, not the agent. Let us take an example. There are different clocks, all driven by the same electric energy. If every clock just thinks that it goes by its own strength, it is a serious error. We are all parts of a mighty stream of energy that is working through us. We should always try to be cosmocentric and become as impersonal as possible in everything. This body and mind are instruments of a mighty power. To the extent we are able to become cosmocentric and more impersonal, to that extent we succeed in giving up all ideas of agentship and attain peace. The more we run away from the divine, the more miserable we become. Really speaking, do you keep your body alive, or is it the divine energy that is working through you? You are in dynamic contact with the cosmic forces at different levels of your personality, the physical, the mental, and the spiritual. Just as the body is maintained by energy derived from food, so is the soul maintained by cosmic spiritual energy. The moment this energy is withdrawn, you become lifeless, inert. So never attribute anything to yourself, but learn to attribute everything to the divine energy. Try instead to become a fit channel for the expression of that energy. Develop in yourself this capacity by practicing humility and self-surrender. But this needs constant effort. Egotism obstructs the free flow of the energy, cuts us away from the divine source. That is why we suffer. Actually, we are only instruments in the hands of the divine. Don't you remember Swami Vivekananda's experience in Kashmir? While in a dilapidated temple, which bore the marks of Mohammedan vandalism, he said to himself that he would not have allowed that to happen had he been alive then. Suddenly there came to him the voice of the Divine Mother. Am I protecting you, or are you protecting me? This is from the book Life of Swami Vivekananda by the Eastern and Western Disciples, published in 1974, page 398. Swamiji was the realized self, and so he could hear the divine voice. Ordinary people should not mistake their own voice for the divine voice, which cannot be so easily heard as people think. Only when our minds are purified and our wills are united with the divine will can we hear the voice. Our whole being must vibrate with divine vibrations before we can hear the voice. And we should note that the voice does not contradict reason, but transcends it. In these days, it has become fashionable to hear the quote-unquote inner voice, but most of these cases are of a questionable nature. What is important for us is to strive consciously to connect our little selves with the divine. As long as we remain awake, let us strive for this to the utmost, and when we go to sleep, let us think that the divine power supports us during that period. We constantly repeat, I, but then when this wonderful I sleeps, who protects it? What keeps the body alive then? Our trouble is we think this little individuality is an independent entity. No, it is not. It is only a part of an infinite existence. Just as it is possible for us to react to our little self or ego, so it is possible for us to react to our higher self. Just as it is possible for us to react to our individuality, so it is possible for us to react to the principle standing behind it. Just as we can love a human being, so can we love the principle. This love is very different from our human love, though. The idea of God as energy or power may appeal to you more than the idea of an impersonal absolute. But we should learn to appreciate that idea also and get established in it. It will become easy if we regard ourselves as the soul and God as the sum total of our all souls or the soul of all souls. Sri Ramakrishna used to sing the song, O Mother, all is done after thine own sweet will. Thou art in truth self-willed, Redeemer of mankind. Thou workest thine own work, men only call it theirs. Thou art the moving force, and I the mere machine. The house am I, and thou the spirit dwelling there. I am the chariot, and thou the charioteer. I move along as thou, O Mother, movest me. This is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, page 301. It is, however, important to note that the idea implied in the above song refers to a high spiritual state, which one attains only after prolonged struggle and self-effort. Only he who has really passed through strenuous self-effort can give himself up and surrender himself wholly and unconditionally at the feet of the divine. All forms of spiritual striving make the mind pure and fit for this total self-surrender, which can be accomplished only after having gone through one's spiritual practice with great perseverance and doggedness. Self-surrender can come only when our quote-unquote wings are dead tired, like those of the bird in Sri Ramakrishna's parable. A bird which was sitting on the mast of a ship did not know that the ship was moving. When it suddenly realized that, it started flying towards the east, west, north and south, but found only limitless sea everywhere. Finally, when its wings were dead tired, it came back and sat on the mast, allowing itself to be carried by the ship. This is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, page 774. Only a person who has put forth maximum self-effort can know what true self-surrender is. It is not enough to say simply, it is all His will. Self-surrender is an attitude of mind which one acquires through the consciousness that one's soul is a part of the cosmic soul and that one's body and mind are instruments of higher power. True self-surrender comes only after a direct spiritual experience. Next section, some practical suggestions. Do not make a blueprint of your life. That does not mean you should not prepare a general plan. Plan your future course in a general way, but then leave everything to the Lord. Let Him make you do what He likes. Let us wish strongly for spiritual progress and spiritual experience, But let us leave the details to the divine. As we do not always see things clearly, we cannot but think about our future and make plans. But all these are to be ultimately left to the divine. We should learn to be in tune with the divine and follow the divine will. If we sincerely persist in this, we will come to a stage when our whole being will be in tune with the divine. Remember this: if one practices complete self-surrender, one cannot take any wrong step. People often glibly say, I have left everything to God, and then they go and do as they please. A man who is attached to the objects of the world or to his own desires and prejudices cannot think of self-surrender. We should always note that without a certain minimum of detachment, self-surrender is impossible. For complete self-surrender, complete detachment is necessary. One who is poor should not wish for more than is necessary. One who is rich should replace the sense of possession with that of trusteeship, and then make the best use of what the divine gives to one. This is true not only of material possessions, but also of intellectual resources and even spiritual blessings. Whatever you have, musical talent, efficiency in work, intellectual ideas, love, everything must be considered as a gift from God to be passed on to others. You know the story of Job in the Old Testament. He lost everything he had, but only said, The Lord gave, and the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. This is from the Bible, Job 1:21. We should give to deserving people whatever we can, but we should exercise great care even in making gifts, whatever they may be. Do not give things away indiscriminately in the name of self-surrender. The true devotee gets the right direction at the right time about how, when, and to whom gifts are to be given. You need not worry so much about attaining calmness just now. There are two types of calmness: egocentric and cosmocentric. Some people appear to be calm because of their lack of love or sympathy for others. They are not bothered about other people's sufferings and appear to be balanced and strong. But they collapse when something happens to themselves. It is better not to have this type of calmness. The cosmocentric calmness comes as a result of self-surrender to the divine by coming in touch with him. Only when we are established in the universal consciousness can we attain real calmness and balance under all circumstances. Do not weaken yourself by being too self-critical. People go on complaining about their life because they allow the causes of their complaints to continue. Unless we make an inner change, unless we overhaul our mind, it will go on giving troubles to us. Do you know Sri Ramakrishna's parable of the pet dog? A dog had been so much fondled in the beginning that it had made a habit of jumping onto its master's body. Later on, the master wanted to control this, but the dog would not obey. Even when it was beaten, it tried to jump onto the master's body. This story is from Tales and Parables of Sri Ramakrishna, published in 1974, page 237. Our mind is like that dog. It has been pampered so long that it is difficult to control it and surrender it at the feet of the Lord. But through repeated practice, we have got to make the mind surrender itself to God. First of all, bring about a transformation in your own life, at least to some extent, through regular sadhana, and then take up the ideal of, quote, work and worship, unquote. Only you should see that you do not take up much more work than you can joyfully do. In the beginning, it is not possible to maintain constant remembrance of the Lord. So, offer all that you do to Him at the beginning and at the end of the work, and if possible, while you are engaged in work. Work becomes mechanical only when you forget the goal of your life, when you forget that whatever you do is a means of realizing God. It is no use working like a machine. The trouble with our work is not so much with the quantity of work as with its quality, that is, the way we do it. It is our inability to do our work in a spirit of dedication to God that is the main obstacle to doing work as a spiritual discipline. But there can never be any dedication unless the goal of God realization is constantly kept in view. Obedience to superiors is a test of our surrender to God. But the person who says that in obeying his superiors, he has to sacrifice everything, including his spiritual aspiration and practice, has not understood the spirit of surrender. As we practice self-surrender to God, our ego is not so much destroyed as transmuted. The individual consciousness expands and finds a place for everybody within it, superiors, juniors, and equals. True self-surrender endows a person with a higher wisdom and dignity that prevents other people from taking advantage of him. Self-surrender does not mean that you have to behave like fools. Once upon a time, there was a great scholar. His wife one day had to go somewhere, and she asked him to boil lentils on the stove. Now, as the cooking proceeded, the lentils started frothing up and the soup started spilling out of the vessel. The scholar immediately began to pray to God. His wife later on came, saw the mess the man had created and asked him what he had done. She then scolded him, "You fool, could you not pour a little oil on the lentils?" When we pray to God, we should pray for the wisdom to distinguish truth from falsehood, the good from the bad, the right from the wrong. Let us work as best as we can with the understanding which He has already given us, and as we proceed, He will fill us more and more. It is a great bondage to depend too much on outside help and seek advice from others too often. The more you turn to the inner guide, the more free you become. Have infinite trust in the divine and go on with the duties of your life heroically. Let the hands be busy with work and the mind occupied with thoughts of the divine. If you have to do intellectual work and keep your mind engaged in worldly thoughts, then fix your heart, the will, on the Lord firmly. Surrender your ego to the divine. Work and worship must go hand in hand. Our ideal is to transmute work also into worship, but it can be realized only through constant practice in the course of time. In order to succeed in this, you have to maintain something of the prayerful and meditative mood while doing your work. It does not matter if you do not succeed always. Let these failures be stepping stones to success. With a part of the mind, we have to think of the Lord, while with the other part, we have to attain to the duties of life, noticing, of course, what we are doing, and offering the fruits of the work to the divine. All this is no doubt difficult, but let us try again and again. Don't you know Sri Ramakrishna's parable of the woman who prepares flattened rice? With one hand she has to turn the grain in the machine. With the other she has to nurse her baby. All the while talking to friends and bargaining with customers. This is from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, on pages 314 to 315, and also on pages 380 to 381. Something of the dexterity must be brought into our spiritual striving. You know the well-known song of Shankara wherein he says, "Whatever I do, O Lord, is thy worship." This is from the Shiva Manasa Puja, the 4th verse. Yadyat karma karomi tattadakhilam Shambho tavaradhanam. Yadyat karma karomi tattadakhilam Shambho tavaradhanam. This attitude is easy when you love work. If you really dislike the work you've got to do because of some intrinsic defect in it, then please tell the Lord about your difficulties and about the fact that you are doing it only because of the pressure of circumstances. If you so wish, you may request Him to take it away from you and give something better. He will surely fulfill your wish if it is for your own good. Otherwise, you should know that it is good for you to continue with the old work, in which case you may find unexpected benefits from the very work which you disliked. So this is a very good point to quote a very relevant verse. from the Gita, very famous verse actually. It is verse 3.35. Shreyan swadharmo vigunah paradharmat swanushkitat swadharme nidhanam shreyah paradharmo bhayavahah. Continuing, I am not quite sure if Sri Ramakrishna gives us blows. Our troubles and tribulations are the result of the working out of our karma. So instead of blaming the Lord, let us profit by our experiences, however bitter they are, get dispassion more and more, and hold on to the Lord always. He is not only witnessing our trials, but also is ready to help us out of them. The Lord has brought you into close contact with His spiritual current. Follow that current and maintain the contact. In due course, you will feel the divine presence always within you, whether you sit quiet or work hard. Work and worship must go hand in hand, and work done in the right spirit is acceptable to the divine as much as devoted worship consisting of prayer and meditation, etc. Only my teacher Swami Brahmananda gave me this instruction. Before you begin to work, remember the Lord and offer salutation to Him. Do the same at intervals in the course of the work and also after you finish it. We will stop here and we'll continue in this section from the next time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.